Hello everyone, looks like I should be live, and welcome to a brand new installment of Teatime Tales. A little bit earlier today, so almost second breakfast tales, as Electron John said in Discord earlier. So I'm glad to be back, and after recovering from another bout of flu, for those of you keeping track of my health status this year, it's been like the fourth time I've gotten sick so far, and this time I completely lost my voice for about 3 days, which I think is like the first time that's really happened to me, at least for that long. So that was definitely not conducive to any streaming, to not have a voice to speak with at all. So after a couple weeks off, I'm back again. Voice is back in operation. I've got my tea here. I'm drinking a White Orchard tea by Mighty Leaf. Another new blend that I'm trying. And if this is your first time watching, well, what are you watching? Teatime Tales is a weekly segment when things are going well, where I take a deck that I've been experimenting with and that's not fully formed yet, run it against the quest, see how it does, see what that tells me about what changes I need to make. When I was preparing for Teatime Tales, when I was supposed to do it about 3 weeks ago, the Twitter poll that was run, the Harad deck was chosen as the deck that I would be running. So I designed a Harad deck, and it features, as you can see here, Khalil, Grima, of course. I think this is the second appearance of Grima on Teatime Tales, and Kieran the Shipwright. Oh, I forgot a couple of my always mentions. One is that I reserve the right to scoop if things are not going well, since I try to play within the space of an hour, and mistakes will probably be made at some point. So I ask for your forgiveness in advance for that. Okay, so back to the deck. So it's a fairly standard Harad deck in the sense that, I mean, like all Harad decks, the main goal is just to get out those big 5-cost allies as quickly as you can. In this case, I'm using Steward, of course, but I'm also using Grima to try to help with that process of getting them out quickly. And then once they're out quickly, any other kind of duplicate Harad cards you draw can be fed to Khalil's ability, which he can discard a Harad ally from your hand to ready a Harad character in play. Limit once per phase. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward other than that. Just kind of the experimental part of it is using Grima and Kieran specifically. And Kieran is included for card draw purposes, because there's not too much more card draw on the deck other than Deep Knowledge. And the other important aspect other than card draws, Kieran can use Narya, which is, since this is a deck where you're just running a few big allies, you want to get as many actions out of them as possible, which Narya lets you do. The other route I've seen some people take is Gandalf, but this deck uses Narya. Today I'm going against Mumak, the quest where you're trying to tame a wild Mumak. I've been a bit nervous to use this quest on stream for one reason, and that is a card called Savage South, which is the one card most guaranteed to draw all the expletives out of my mouth, because I freaking hate that treachery so much. So much. And it's a treachery that could wreck this kind of deck in particular that is running a ton of unique duplicates. This quest is kind of tailor-made to just wreck Harad decks. Yeah, Electron John, over under on how long before scoop for Savage South. Yeah, if there's going to be a scoop, it will probably be for that. So, that being said, sometimes recently I don't include a Test of Will for solo decks, but for this deck, because it's so fragile that if anything happens to your big unique allies, it can really put a hurting on your board. I have 3 Test of Wills, and in this case I'm hoping to get one fairly early on, and it's just gonna sit on my hand until Savage South comes out. The other kind of counter is Frial herself, who in solo can, you know, if I see it coming, I can just discard it. So I think that's about it. I have my hand. I haven't chosen whether to mulligan or not. It does have a test of will in hand. Does have for y'all, who is probably the unique Harad ally I like getting out first. But unfortunately, it doesn't have any of my resource cards, which are so useful. I do have a deep knowledge, which I could go searching for, so I could try to play it a bit risky in that respect. It depends on how much. Let's see, I'll get 2 additional cards with Cured In plus 2 from Deep Knowledge. That's 4 more cards, or I could try to mulligan and see what I can get, because it is a pretty decent hand. But I think I'm gonna mulligan just to give myself the best shot at a steward and hope it doesn't come back to bite. Ah, yep, there's steward. So I'm happy with that decision. I've chosen my starting location, which is dense jungle. Welcome to the jungle. I still love that Caleb chose that as the title for this quest stage. If only YouTube didn't censor videos with copyright violations, because otherwise you would be hearing Axl Rose piping in right about now. Okay, just remember that after the active location leaves play is explored, then you have to shuffle one of these set aside Mumaks into the encounter, and I can advance until a Mumak is in play. Alright, let's get started. Let's see how many times I forget Kieran's ability. I won't forget it this time. We got Handmaiden, we got the headdress. Oof. I think I'm gonna keep the headdress because it's very good. So, first play is use Grima's ability to reduce the cost of Steward to 1. Play Steward right away. And let's see. I want to save my spirit resource so I can afford Arwen. I don't really have anything lore to play, so I think I'll play 1 and 1 for a Southern refugee. And I think that'll do it for my turn. So with that setup, if I draw one of my 5 costers, I should be able to play it next turn. Okay, we're up against 2. I'm not going to send too much. I'll just send 4 and 6 in case an enemy pops out that I have to engage. Yeah, we do get a snake. And a centipede, yikes. It's not the greatest start. I'm gonna use Elrond's Council to drop back to 29 so that I don't have to engage both of these beasties. And that'll raise my willpower to 7. 1 progress. I will travel. The centipede can stay there. The python has to come down, and this is not a good situation here, because if this attaches to Khalil, then he's gonna be stuck not being able to ready for the entire game. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to sacrifice the refugee, which sucks. That was basically 2 resources wasted. Defending character cannot ready. That's fine, because the refugee's dead. I will attack back for 1 damage. So what is the timing on this thing? So it damages the refugee, but does it attach to the refugee and then get discarded along with the refugee? Someone pull out that new rules reference. I am rusty on the timing on that. So it would damage it, The question is, does the refugee leave play before this force can trigger to attach it? After it damages a character. I'm gonna assume this stays in play, and I'm just gonna play it that way. Next turn. We got Song of Hope and another Elrond's Council. Not drawing any of my big characters, unfortunately. Well, let's do our steward thing. I think I will keep Elrond's Council for now. We're definitely gonna put out Arwen so that Khalil can defend against this Python. I really don't have good options here. We're up against 3. So let's send 6 again. Elrond's Council. 2, 3, so I can stay below the centipede. Highest location in the staging area, there are none. Ape, so this guy goes up to 4, eesh, so that's 7. Okay, very enemy heavy beginning to this, so I make no progress. This is not going well for me. So 3 to 3. Discard a random card from hand. Okay. I lose my headdress. Oh, I needed to send Arwen questing, sorry. So I actually did make 2 progress on this. Yeah, I think that's about all I can do next turn. Okay. This is gonna become scoopable pretty soon here. Let's put the spear on Khalil because I really need to kill the snake so I can start getting through these enemies. Let's do for... Yeah, I'm just gonna have to tread water for now. 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna go up by 2, which means the centipede's gonna come down. Centipede I'm gonna have to take undefended and put that on Curated. Khalil will have to defend this for 3. It's gonna get +1 and attached to Khalil. Okay, that's a scoopable fence there. Let's scoop that. I don't see any way out of that situation there. Oof. I think that it must have been one of the most rough beginnings to that particular quest I've ever seen. Okay, let's pull up my deck. Oh, I forgot the title of my deck is Go Harad, or Go Home. No apologies. Okay. Let's bring up the Mumak again. Grab the location we want, shuffle the rest. This does have Keys of Orthanc, which is my backup to Steward, but I'm going to learn my lesson from last time and not take this one because it doesn't have any of my uniques. So, oh, I zoomed out a little bit. There we go. Take a mulligan. Okay, it does have a unique, a couple of my Harad uniques, but it doesn't have Steward, so we'll see if I get that. 2 threat on the staging area. Let's try this again. Okay. think I'm gonna keep my deep knowledges. I'm gonna dig for that steward. So let's go deep knowledge. 1, 2. Let's go deep knowledge. This is a risky move, as you can see last time around if your threat is too high. But I'll try it. Okay, no steward in sight, huh? Well, I do have this option here. Captain's Wisdom, which is my other steward backup. So that gives me 3. Yeah. So then let's use Grima's ability for 1, 2, 3, and 4 to play Friel out, and that'll give me some control over the counter deck. That's about all I can play other than Song of Hope on Khalil. I included Song of Hope in this deck because once you get Grima is really here for the early game. Later on in a game, because of Steward and other cards, I end up just piling up a lot of resources because there's just like lots of duplicates of uniques, and so after a while you end up not playing a lot. And so I included Song of Hope to give Khalil something to do with his resources, and because in this deck there's kind of a willpower ceiling, again because there's only a few different characters included, there's only so high your willpower can get, so Song of Hope helps in that respect. Okay, let's quest with 4 and 7. Sorry, I should be on this. Kind of tempted to hold back Grima just in case of worst case scenario and somehow I'm unable to avoid an enemy. I will place Elrond's Council down by 3. I'm sending 4, 7 plus the Elrond's Council takes me to 8 versus 2. Let's go ahead and use Friel's ability to peek. Yeah. We're not gonna do the Terrible Fever because that card also sucks, and I don't have condition removal in this deck. I do have healing, which is kind of a counter to this one, but yeah, I guess I could run healing, but I would just prefer not to deal with that right now. So let's hope that doesn't bite me. We get this one, discard a random card from his hand. Okay, it's probably gonna be Treebeard. Called it. Okay, so 4. So let's put 2 on Furiel and 2 on Grima, and we will make 6 progress. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will travel to Dense Jungle next round. Card. Okay, I'll discard the duplicates, and yeah, no Keys of Orthanc, no Steward, unfortunately. Do have a Narya, but I'm gonna need Círdan for questing right now. So let's just do the Handmaiden for 2 and lower my threat a bit. I won't have enough for Test of Will, but I'm gonna rely on Furiel to help me here. So 4 and 7 and 9. I'll leave the 2 heroes back in case of stuff. Yeah, Electron John, Octagon's quote-unquote random strikes again. I like that I could just instantly look at my hand and know it was going to pick Treebeard. Territorial Ape. It's not the worst in the world. At this point, anyway. I think I'll keep it. It's 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will trigger when it's explored. Discard the top card of the encounter deck. If it is a location, add it to the staging area. It is a location. It is Jungle Trail. That's a nasty combo there. Because if I travel, it's 4 threat in the staging area, which hurts. But if I travel to it, then this 8 becomes gigantic. So I can't really do that. Oh yeah, you're right. Sean, he's 4 threat the first go, so that was actually 2 less progress. I forgot I had it active there. I think I'm kind of tempted to take him out of the staging area, even though I can't do damage to him. Or I could just quest over 6. I'm not that flush in willpower right now. Or I could just leave him there for now. I think I'll leave him there for now, just to prevent myself from getting into any trouble. So let's see what I get next. Oh, and I forgot, since I explored, I have to shuffle a Mumak into the deck. Okay, another test of will. Galathrium's greeting. I think I'm gonna keep the greeting, since I have for y'all to help me manage. Still no love for the resource generation, huh? And I have 3 copies of Steward and 2 copies of Keys of Orthanc in here. I think I will put out the Warden, since I have some damage already. Just have that on standby. So we're up against 6. I'm gonna send 4, 7, 9. And I guess I send Grima, because Khalil can defend. It's not like Grima can really help much with that. It's 11. Let's peek with Frial. Mumak Trail, that's fine. So I'll keep it. That's 3 more progress. 1, 2, 3. Again, I could travel to the trail, but that's gonna pump up this dude. That would be 2 additional. I mean, it's 2 additional threat right now, whether I go to it or not. And not engaging it right now. Yeah, I guess I'll just travel to it. Raise my threat by 1. That does mean next turn I'm gonna have to engage the ape. So hopefully we'll get some resource help here. Another Narya. Oh, okay. That is nice. I got my Joubert, so I can. I think I'm going to use Grima's ability on that, since I have the greeting to put my. Trying to think of whose resources I should use up. I could keep 1 on Círdan for test of will purposes, but it's also would be good to keep 1 on Khalil, because I'm far away from paying for Yazan without Steward around. So let's do that. Let's pay 4 from those 2. We'll keep 1 on Khalil. We have our defender out now. We still don't have much attack power to deal with this guy, unfortunately. Sean, remember when LOTR had consistent economy options? Yeah, me neither. This game was providing yet another opportunity for Sean to slag off Steward. But not for no reason. Yeah, Stokes Book is chiming up with hashtag Steward sucks. Electron John, I was low-key hoping if the core ever got a revision that we'd see the errata bat hit Steward. Yeah. I don't have much to add other than, yeah. I mean, it's all been said about Steward already, but you just see it in a deck like this. Okay, where was I at before the parade of Steward hate? Okay, I played Joubert, I'm ready to go. This is a 6 threat in a staging area. Let's see. Naked without any buffs, I would need 6 to kill him. Yeah, I'm not getting that right now. 4, 7. Oh, I forgot to trigger Steward last turn. So you guys will forgive me if I rectify my forgetfulness and take off those. 4, 7, that's 9 to 6. Let's go ahead and throw Grima. Time to peek for y'all. What we got? That thing again. I kind of want to keep it at this point because I have healing on the board. I don't have a ton of damage problems at the moment. And then it would kind of just be a free treachery other than just needing to use up one of my board and heals. So I'm going to go a bit unconventional and keep it. Okay, this is going to remove Grima. 2. Grima comes down with a little fever. I know those feels, Grima. That's been most of my 2018 so far is terrible fever. That pretty much describes my year. Okay, so against 6, that's 9 to 6. 1, 2, 3. It's just enough. I don't want to quite activate the Mumak trail yet. I don't think I'm in a threat willpower position to do that, so I'm not going to trigger the response. That is going to shuffle a Mumak in. That does mean I might have to spend more time at this stage, but with 27 left in the counter deck, it'll come up eventually, and I need more time to get situated. Still not going to travel to the trail. The ape will come down, but he's only at a 2. Joubert will block, and he's going to discard that shadow card. Remember, Joubert, when he exhausts the defend, can discard 1 face-down shadow from a non-unique. Oh, I got excited thinking that this was the spear, but then I remembered that was last game. So Khalil can't really do anything. I will heal a damage using the Warden from each. Refresh. End of the round. Grima will take a damage from the Terrible Fever. Get an extra card from Kieran. There's the keys. No! It's Sophie's choice there. Kieran's choice. So I can either pull off my Light of Valinor and Nario combo here, or I can do the keys and get Yazan into play all the faster. Let's think this through. Yazan is the last one I need to get on the board. He will really help me kill things. Sean saying, what are you narrating right now until you get Yazan out? Just Joubert, so he gets up to 3 attack. And together with Furial, that's 5 attack if I ready them both. That's pretty decent. Let's see, next turn I'll be at 3. So if I don't take the keys right now, that's like another 2 turns at least. Until it gets into Grima range. Yeah, I guess I gotta go the keys. Yeah. Well. Okay, so I play the keys down. I could play something. So the keys route basically means I can play him next round versus the round after that. I think I'm actually going to go the Naria's Light of Valinor round. I may live to regret it. Don't yell at me, internet. I'm just thinking if I may live to regret not having that combo later when Joubert has to defend against multiple Mumaks. And he doesn't have any buffs on the table. Oh boy. I'm really betting and hoping I'll get some kind of resource help next turn, and then I'll be able to play him next turn. So I'm gambling a bit here. So we're up against 4. Let's do 4 and 7 and 9. That's probably sufficient. I mean, we almost have enough to clear, and we can't clear anyway because there's no Mumaks in play. So, let's see what for y'all has in store for us. Stampeding Oliphant, choose Wild Mumak in the staging area to attack. If no attacks are made, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Mumak trail and add it to the staging area. Oh. Yeah, good catch. Plays light, exhaust Kieran. Yeah, the analysis paralysis did wear me out. Big time. Okay. And I put Nari on Khalil too. I'm just out of it. I'm a bit rusty, folks. Bear with me here. So I'm gonna keep that treachery because it's not too bad. It's gonna doomed 1, and then it's basically gonna fetch a Mumak trail, which is not bad. Mumak trail. So that's 6, so that's 3, so I do have enough progress, but can't advance yet. Let's see, if I travel to this thing, he'll be hitting for 4, which Jubear can defend, but then I'll need to put, it doesn't buff his defense. Yeah, so that's fine, so let's travel. Do I need to do that? Yeah, I guess I should start thinking about getting the Mumak out. So raise my threat. Ape is going to attack. Jubear defends. Cured in exhaust to ready for y'all. And Jubear discards this. 4 attack Ape against the 4 defense Jubear. Nothing. Jubear's 3. For y'all's 2, that's 5. Plus Khalil's 7. Yeah, that's enough to kill the ape. I will then help Grima with his fever. It gives me fever. Okay, next round. Ooh. Okay. Well, if I get the refugee out, I could play Yazan this turn. That is my resource help. But then I don't get the sweet, sweet headdress. I think I gotta ditch the headdress and get my boy Yazan out. Yeah. Okay, so 1 and 2 for the refugee. We are going to exhaust refugee, reduce the cost of the next Harad by 1, use Grima's ability, reduce the cost of the next ally by 1. So Yazan costs 3. Look at that! I got the full team in play now, finally. I'm only at 41 threat. The good news is I do have the Galathrium's Greeting, which should give me some breathing room. Alright, let's see what we can do here. 4, 6, 9, 11. I mean, I don't even really need to spend that much, but let's see. I guess I'll send it just to be safe. 4, 6, 9, 11. See what we're up against. Guardians of the Jungle. Each location gets +1 threat, and Guardians of the Jungle becomes the current quest. Search for an ape. In solo, that's kind of fine. I mean, +1 threat to locations, yeah, that's fine. So let's let it go, let it go. Okay, so that's 5. So that's 6 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will trigger Electron John, annoying, not fatal. Yeah, and that's kind of the calculation when you're using Frial's ability. Like, is it annoying? Or is it fatal? If it's just kind of annoying, then I better keep it instead of discarding it, and then I draw Savage South, and then this becomes a mature rated stream. So I'm shuffling in the Mumak from this forced effect. I'm doing the response, it's leaving play. I'm gonna search for a Mumak and add it to the staging area. I choose you. That will trigger my ability to advance now. There's one Mumak in play, there's one player. Next stage. Starting with first player, each player attaches one random set-aside capture objective to the Mumak. I'm just going to use my random number generator out of 4. We get number 1, which is the Horsehair Lasso. After the attached enemy is dealt any amount of damage, the engaged player shuffles his deck and discards the top card. If the discarded card's cost is equal to or greater than the attached enemy's remaining hit points, add the lasso and the enemy to the victory display. That's not too bad for a Harad deck that has a lot of 5-cost cards in its deck. I hardly ever get this capture objective. I really didn't even remember. This might be the first time I've gotten it, actually. I think I usually always get the Pit Trap or the Noose of Vines. What does the Spear do after the player's quest successfully? Okay, so that's an interesting one. It is a response, so I can choose when to trigger it. So other side of the quest stage, at the beginning of the quest phase, if there's no active location, then reveal an additional encounter card. Ooh, the stage can't be defeated. So I do have a bit of a question here of whether I want to travel to the jungle trail. If I had a resource for Test of Will, I would say yes, unreservedly. But because I don't, I'm very worried that if I travel to the jungle trail, it will be Savage South. Let's see, there's 22 cards in the encounter deck. Probably 2 copies of Savage South, I'm guessing. Yeah, Electron John, do you want an encounter card or do you want an encounter card? I think that's the subtitle for this game. The advantage is, even though I get 2 encounter cards next turn, at least I'll have a resource for Test of Will. Oh boy. I think I'm going to not travel to it. I'm going to play it a bit safe. I am going to... That's going to be a lot of threat. Ugh. Between the Mumak and the jungle trail. I mean, should I risk it? We could lose everything here. No, I can't risk it. I can't risk it. Gentle viewer, I cannot risk it. I know this game too well that the top card will be Savage South. We'll see next turn. Okay, so I will engage. The only issue here is usually by this point I have 2 buffs in play. I usually have Arwen or a Tribesman or Narya. And right now Joubert only has 1, so he's going to take 2 damage from this attack. So I can't do that too often. But we will do it right now. We'll ready these 2. The Wild Mumak is non-unique, so I can discard the Shadow. Joubert takes 2 damage. I'll go ahead and heal before I forget. I think I might have forgotten to put a damage on Grima for last round, but that gets healed right now anyway. Okay, I should be able to easily put damage here. That's 3 and 6 just between those 2, which is 3 damage. That's the most I can put on the Mumak. I'm not going to trigger the response because I don't have anything, what is this? Equal to or greater. I don't have any 6-cost cards in there. So, what is the play here? I don't want to... Yeah, I think I'm going to have to return him to the staging area. That's going to be a ton of threat. I could just have the refugee try to block it. But I think I'll just return it and hope for the best. In case you haven't played in a while, what I'm referring to is at the end of the round, I have to choose whether to return the Mumak to the staging area or it makes an immediate attack. Okay, next round, Grima takes a damage. Oh, there you are, Steward. You know, call me crazy, but I think in this case I actually need the headdress and the willpower more here. Yeah. So I'm gonna use Grima's ability. Oh, I'm gonna discard the Steward. Pay 2 for the headdress. And I still have 1 available for Test of Will. Okay, so we send 4. We send... that's 8 now with for y'all. And I'm up against 8 right now. Ugh, with 2 encounter cards to come, this is going to be a bit hairy. I can send the Refugee for 2. I can send the Handmaiden for 2. And Grima for 2. And I guess Khalil for 2? For 3? Okay. Like John says, you're crazy, but you're not because time is not on your side. Yep, it's definitely not. So let's see what that trail would have given me if I would have gone to it. A forest clearing. Okay, so maybe I was a bit more scared than I should have been, but... So this will be 4 threat. But I think I have to take it. Okay, so 4 threat. 1, 2, 3, 4. With Guardians of the Jungle, that's 4 threat. Oh, that surges. And that's 3 threat. 1, 2, 3. Yikes. A grand total of 1 progress. Okay. I still don't want an... I definitely don't want an extra encounter card right now. This one gives me an enemy. That one gives me another location. I think I'm going to have to go to the higher threat forest clearing. At least that means I won't have an extra card next phase. I will bring down the Mumak. I will bring down the Python. Well, it'll bring itself down. Okay. Defend. First, let's heal. Sorry. Kierden will ready the Joubert and the Refugee. It's about the same attack as for y'all anyway. Boy. Okay. Just trying to figure out how this is going to work with a Python if it accidentally damages the Joubert. That'd be pretty devastating. But let's try. Joubert, okay, he's going to block that. He's going to take 2 damage. Oh, sorry, he had already exhausted to block and then Narya readied him. I think I'm going to have to risk it and defend with Joubert. Treat the defending character's text box as blank until the end of the round. That's fine. It doesn't go through. The Python doesn't wrap around him. Okay. Let's go ahead and attack for 3 and 5. That's 2 damage. But then remember, Yazan, after he's declared as an attacker, I can also deal 1 damage to a non-unique, which I will choose the Mumak. So that's the 3 damage for the round. And now we'll trigger the... so actually declared as an attacker. And then I dealt 2 damage to him. Okay, and then I'll trigger the response after he's dealt any amount of damage. Shuffles his deck and discards the top card. If I get lucky, that could get rid of this Mumak. It won't be the end of the quest yet because I still don't have enough progress. But it'll at least be a big pile of elephant matter off my plate. Yeah, Electron John saying it'll probably be Elrond's Council. Probably. Just as good. Deep knowledge 0. Great. Okay. So I still have a Python around. I still have a Mumak. Let's see. Boy. Okay. I think I have to return it to the staging area. I could keep him and sacrifice the refugee. But I'm not loving that option right now. Well, let's think this through. Ideally, I really need to get enough willpower that I can end the game this next round. I could also sacrifice the Warden, because even if I heal Joubert, he can't take another Wild Mumak pounding. Yeah, I think I might have to sacrifice someone. Although that is 2 extra willpower. So I'm basically saving. If I sacrifice it, that means I lose 2 willpower, but that's 3 threat out of the staging area. It's not great. I'll just put him back. See what happens. Next turn, Grima takes a damage. Draw 2 cards. Elrond's Council. I mean, helpful, but I think I'd rather have an extra ready, to be honest. Okay, we're up against 5. This Guardians of the Jungle is actually turning out to be a bit problematic, to be honest. 5, 8, 11. Eesh. Okay, so 4, 6, 9, 13, 15, 17. It's not great. It's not great. Just thinking through the possibilities here. Because if I send Yazan, that's another 3. Let's see, and then I would defend the snake. Oh, and I do have an extra ready. Yeah, so let's send Yazan for 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 20 to 11. For y'all's gonna peek. It's a centipede. Don't really want another enemy right now. So let's discard that. Hope that wasn't a mistake. We get another clearing. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to spend 1 for Khalil for Song of Hope. Raise his willpower by 1. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost there, but not quite. It's going to get explored. Discard the top card, then counter deck. It's not an enemy. Still a ton of locations. I'll travel to one of the forest clearings. This guy's going to come back down. Okay, so I have some issues here. I must have forgotten to put the damage on Grima again. So like that and like that. Again, it's 6 to 4 because I don't have any of my other buffs, which usually show up by this point with 23 cards left in my deck. And I haven't been using the headdress for that reason because I'm waiting for a couple of the other cards like Arwen and the Tribesmen to show up. So 6 to 4 would obliterate Joubert, which is not great. So I might have to sacrifice the refugee at this point. Because I don't want to lose Joubert. I mean, hopefully the game will be over next round, but I can't count on that. So Joubert will defend against the Python actually and get a guaranteed safe haven against any shadows. I will ready Yazan. And yeah, I guess the refugee is who I'm going to send to their fate. And nothing on there that punishes chump blocking, at least on the Mumak itself. Yeah, it gets a ton of extra attack, and the refugee is just obliterated into nothingness. So I can do, let's see, 4. So I can do 2 damage worth, which will leave it with 1 hit point. But if I want to guarantee the horsehair lasso going off, I have to use this. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to play it conservative. Electron John says, wait, did you have to add that location? You're right, I didn't, because it was a forest clearing, which is an enemy, not a location. So this extra clearing is gone. Thanks for that catch. I kept thinking about the dense jungle, which is the the dense jungle, which adds the location rather than the enemy. Okay, so that's actually a little bit better of a position. Thanks, Electron John. Okay, so defense manage. I'll discard for y'all to ready Joubert. They will attack together for 7, a whole buttload, and put the 3. Trigger Horsehair Lasso. Shuffle my deck. Boom, that's 2 is greater than remaining hit points of 0. Add the Horsehair Lasso and the Mumak to the victory display. Yeah, captured a Mumak! So now all I have to do is get 3 more progress, and then remember, stage can't be defeated while there are any capture objectives. So there are none anymore, and there won't be any more, so I just need 3 more progress. Actually, since I had enough to deal to the Mumak, I'll just put Yazan's 1 damage on the Python for fun. Okay. Next turn, Grima gets his damage. Extra card for Kierden. I think I'll take the refugee. Because it will provide some extra willpower. Okay, we're up against 5 and 8. We need to get 2, 3, we need 5 total progress. Okay, so 4, 7, 9, 13, 15, 18, 20. 20 to 8. Okay, that's over. It surges anyway, so if it surges, might as well discard it. Next card, or the actual staging reveal. It is a Mumak. 1, 2, 3. But never fear, it doesn't matter if there's a Mumak in play, it just matters if there's any capture objectives in play. So I can let this one run wild and free. So 5, 8, 11, that's a 9 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that completes the game successfully. Well, the first go was not great. Probably one of the worst beginnings for a Harad deck in Mumak you could have. The second game got a little hairy at points, but overall managed to pull off the victory. So let's see, what are my big takeaways for this deck? Well, one, no big surprise with any deck that's reliant on resource generation. If it just doesn't show up, you're gonna stall a little bit. The good thing is there are at least some ways around it. Grima being the biggest, the refugee, having Keys of Orthing to back up Steward, and then also Captain's Wisdom. So all of those in some capacity, except for Steward itself since I had to discard it, played a part in letting me get this deck going, even though the primary resource engine, Steward, didn't show up. Let's see, other takeaways. I think a key thing is between the first two games is making sure you at least have one of those. It's important to look for your key resource cards, but you also want to make sure you have at least one of your big 5-cost allies sniffing around. Otherwise, the deck is kind of toothless. So, making sure you see those. Changes to the deck. Overall, I like how it functions. I like the Narya flex and Khalil's ability, kind of flexibility it gives you, and Redding. The kind of main thing I feel like for this deck is I don't get to use Khalil's ability a ton, because as you can see I'm at 2 cards in my hand, and that's how a lot of my games go, is I'm just churning through cards, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, a lot of times I feel like that's a sign of an efficient deck, that you're not stuck with a lot of cards in hand that you're not playing. Like if you're constantly churning through cards, that means you're doing things. But on the other hand, it would be nice to have a little bit more card draw so that I could get more copies of the Harad allies, so I could use Khalil's ability more often, and I think that would take the deck to the next level. I do have Deep Knowledge. I did have Daron's Ruins as well in an earlier build, but the space in the deck is so tight that I ended up cutting it. But I don't know, if you have any suggestions for fitting card draw, you can find the deck on RingsDB. Go Harad or go home. Make sure you give it a like. I'm glad I got Grima involved again on Teatime Tales. And you can look it over and see places where maybe that I didn't notice where some card draw could fit in. But overall, it's probably my favorite Harad deck that I've constructed. It's a lot of fun with the Grima and Narya interactions, those two heroes working with Khalil. I love these 3 unique Harad allies. They're so much fun together because they basically cover all parts of the game. I did try this against quests like Beneath the Sands. That was a big boss enemy. That's one situation where this deck can struggle a bit too, is it's good at killing lots of enemies, but when you get a big boss enemy, like I mentioned, there's a willpower ceiling to the deck. There's also kind of an attack strength ceiling to the deck, just because, again, you only have a certain number of characters. So that's one reason why I found a little bit of space for Treebeard in here. But I think if you are taking on a quest like that, you'd have to do some tweaking and get some more attack power in there somewhat. But the Harad Spears help with that somewhat. Just the final point is Warden of Healing was not in the initial build, but I added it, and it's so key to keep Jubair in play and just deal with all the direct damage that happens. And as you saw in this play, completely nullified Grima's little fever. Okay, so last bits of things. Follow Tales from the Cards on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at TalesFTCards, where you can vote on the next deck that I'll play. Go find Go Harad or Go Home deck on RingsDB. Give it a like if you feel so inclined. And until next time, I should be back next Friday, crossing my fingers for a sustained bit of health in 2018. And we'll see what we get up to next time around. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.